Yeah, Mike Winchell here with your Week 5 Heartfelt League Review. We're going to take you through some analysis, some statistics, some projections. A lot of things have happened in the last 5 weeks. We've had players go down with injuries. We've had players get arrested. A lot of shit. So let's take you through it. Let's analyze the teams. I feel like by Week 5 we're starting to see some things shake out. Starting to see some teams solidify themselves at the bottom of the crab bucket, which is always nice to see. And we're starting to see some teams rise, be the cream of the crop at this point. So let's take you through it. So the scoring system that I'm going to be using is your typical elementary school grade, your A plus down to your F minus. And then along with that, I'm also going to be dropping in a percent of probability of you making the playoffs. And this is going to be a combination of things, of your managing ability and the players that you have on your squad that you've assembled. So with nothing further ado, let's take you through it. I'm going to be looking at the Big Base Bros. That's the team I'm going to be, or the league that I'm going to be analyzing here. And to put it bluntly, this league is stacked. There's a lot of teams here. You got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. So I feel like just right out of the gates, the record of the teams that are in this league is really not indicative of where I'm going to rank them, because I see a lot of losses on the boards. But to put things into perspective, the top 4 teams in this league have outscored the top team in the other league. So that's a big statement to say right there, to say the least. So I'm going to start off with the lowest rated team, the dog shit team of the Big Base Bros. And I got to give it to Company Kane. I think he actually has a solid team put together. QB, you got Jake Cutler. I think that's a solid pick. I like that pick. Running backs, you got Jamal Charles. I think he turns it around. You got yourself a good season. You got something happening there. You get the feeling like the wide receivers are starting to click. And if Jamal Charles can come back to life, I think there's something here. I think there's a playoff-bound team in the mix. My only hesitation with this team is with the manager. The guy just doesn't care. He wakes up every morning, doesn't care if he has a job, doesn't care if he has a good fantasy football team. It's embarrassing. So I'm going to go ahead, give him a score. I think it's a solid team. I'm not knocking that. But Nolan Kane, he's going to be a B minus, 25% chance of making the playoff kind of team. And that's just where it falls for him. Okay, let's move right along here. The second team I have on my list is Manifest Destiny. At the start of the season, it looked like this guy had something great. Put together a good, solid team, good, solid roster. We were all hopeful. He was high in the rankings. Then a couple of things didn't pan out, and that's kind of been the story up to this point. But you got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. And every single year, he's going to find a way to make it work. Unlike a Nolan Kane, he's going to do his homework. He's going to put in the long hours. He's going to be up till 3 in the morning looking at stats, seeing what players are going to meld together well to put together a winning roster. I like Colin Kaepernick as a QB. I think the wide receivers are solid. Des Bryant. Crabtree's not having the year I think we all hope for, but I think he'll turn it around. Giovanni, you got yourself another solid running back. But as a team scorer, I think he's pretty even with the Nolan Kane team score, but the probability of making playoffs, I'm going to give it a little bit higher on this one. 35% chance of making playoffs. B minus team. Again, I think he's a solid manager. Anna's shaking her head at that, but I think it's the right score. I think it's the right score for that guy. Okay, let's move on to team number 3 here. I got Sierra Hill Roughnecks. Now, this guy might possibly have the lowest football acumen of the entire group. And somehow, year after year, he's figured out how to put together a solid squad that's going to compete year in and year out, just like Clovis High basketball. The guy's got no talent, but he's going to find a way to put the ball in the basket. And that's the thing I love about him. He's got a top 10 QB with Matthew Stafford. Marshawn Lynch, who knows how long he's going to be alive and playing football, but right now he's putting up big points, so you got to credit that. Asiata fell into the guy's lap. But I think that's a candle that's eventually going to burn out. He's a number 11 running back at this point. I don't think he finishes up there. I don't think that Steve Smith is going to be a top 10 wide receiver. I just don't see how he gets himself into the top 10. The guy's like 58 years old, so I don't think he has the durability to even make it through an entire season. But all in all, I think John, he's got a good team. He's got a chance to do something out there. So I'm going to give him a solid B rating, 65% chance at making playoffs. I think he's a good manager, and I think he'll pull it together. Okay, moving on to the second place team in this league, the Pack Attack. Now, as crazy as we thought David was when he assembled a team with the entire Green Bay Packers offense, you got to hand it to the guy. He's figured something out here. There's some solid players here. You look up and down this lineup, you got A-Rod, number 5 QB at this point, Jordy Nelson, number 2, Randall Cobb, number 5. I think the numbers speak for themselves at this point. So it's hard not to put this guy in the top tier of talent of the teams that are out there. You toss in Macklin, he's having a hell of a year. I think he continues to crush it. The running backs, I think, are a little soft. Ellington, I don't know if he's quite an RB1 talent. He's a good PPR guy, but is he an RB1? Does he stay there? Probably not. Spiller, who knows what that guy's going to do. But all in all, I like this team. I like this manager. In my book, he's a B+, 70% making playoffs kind of guy. And that's not bad. That's not a bad score. So that leaves just one more guy out there, and I think we all know who this player's going to be. Koala Bears. Stacked. This is a stacked team. You got players from the top to the bottom that are solid. He's got 6 top 10 players right now. Who knows if it ends up that way, but right now he's sporting Calvin Johnson. He's a little bit hurt right now, but we know he plays through injuries. We know he's going to put up the points. Julio Jones, Emmanuel Sanders, Gronkowski, these are PPR monsters. These are guys that are going to put up the points week after week. Backfield, I think he's got a solid backfield as well. Bell, he's a top. He might be the number 1 running back right now. I have no idea. He's a top 3 guy for sure. Gore, he's a solid running back. But we all know what the big problem is here. The guy doesn't know how to manage. I think there are too many good players on this team that leaves Ayers perplexed as to who to put in the starting lineup. And that's why I think, as a team score, I think you got to separate these two. But I think you got yourself an A+ team. But a 50% probability of making playoffs speaks to the manager ability. And that's pretty low for me. Aris Borges has got to figure out a system for putting in the talent. And that's all I got. We went through the top 5 there. That wraps it up. I think, I'll leave you with this last note. I think the championship team does come out of the Big Base Bros. I would be surprised if you don't see an Aris Borges, you don't see a John Black, or reigning champion, come back and take the league again. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for stopping by, San Diego.